Ladies and gentlemen, guys and dolls, welcome wherever you might be joining us. This is your favorite show. This is Global Talk with Bishop Q, your favorite lunchtime talk show. But very interestingly, today we are coming to you in the morning, merely because we've been having network problems and we need to deal with this issue. So wherever you might be joining us, welcome. This is Global Talk. Today we are focusing primarily on mental illness. This is part 2 of the show, and we have our guest who's online with us. She will be talking to us. She will be explaining in details all these issues that are coming that are called mental illness. Remember that Tina Elokshini, some of the things we normally take it for granted and we don't know anything about them, and yet they are very important to us. That mental illness, it is something a corner, and yet we don't know about it. So today I took time and decided to hook up a friend of mine who will be chatting to us, who will be telling us about this illness. Where does it come from, and how do we future Tina Guyo? Because Tina Elokshini, we grew up as izinto we normally take it for granted and say, lumekanda, or banbanu sababazali bakho, or whatever the case might be. Abanye bakhula bashawa and everything. So if you've just joined us, welcome. This is your favorite talk show. We normally do it during lunchtime, but today we decided to do it during the day. Just before I welcome my guest, part 1, we talked about clinical depression, and we talked about anxiety disorder, which he explained very thoroughly, and bipolar disorder. And if you want to follow up on some of the topics that I'm busy mentioning, you are quite free to follow us on our YouTube channel, or you can look at our Facebook page, that is Bishop Q on Facebook. And on Twitter, we are also available as Bishop Q19. So that's where you'll get some of the topics. And today we are continuing because the last time we also spoke about dementia. And today, let me take this opportunity and welcome my good old friend that I'm doing so many things now. And she's quite a pretty lady. Certainly, in network as Pazamis, you can not see her pretty face, but surely you can pick up a beautiful voice. Good morning, my queen.
Hi Q, how are you?
You always make me smell the way ungibingelela ngakhona. Ngiyabonga Ndlovukazi to take time and time uzokhuluma nathi, probably to come and explain this thing, mental illness, where does it come from, where does it go? And probably sizama ukusiza nabantu, but one thing that I love is the passion that you have behind this. Today, you said you wanted us to focus on what is called ADHD. Let me see if I can mention it today. It is called Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Am I correct?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. ADHD or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, as you've said, is a condition. I always try to put mental health in a practical space for abalaleli, because right. It's not a huge. It's a huge term, yes, because that's what the DSM-5 calls it, but it's a we call it abantwana bastoti. But of late, we have actually found that it's not just abantwana bane ADHD. There are actually adults with ADHD. So that's it's a very, very interesting thing. And once you learn ukuthi how does it work, it makes it very easy to pick up izinto ekhaya and to solve izinto ekhaya without getting frustrated as umzali. Hi to your listeners as well. Angababulisi bantu abantu basekhaya. You and I always talk, so I always forget we've got company.
Right.
But good day really to your listeners, and thank you for to their interests in mental illness. For me, kusho lukhulu ukubona ukuthi isizwe sakwantu has taken on an interest in mental illness, because into ekudala siphila nayo, but besingayiqondi, so the way besiyenza ngakhona we misunderstood a lot. So I'm glad that people are seeking understanding.
No, siyabonga very much. So probably you could break it down for us. Ngiyakuzwa labantwana, you also counted nabantu abadala as well. So it means it is quite a broad thing. But now, if we have this thing, iqala kanjani? Is it something esiqalelayo or mhlambe ifana noshukela whereby you'd inherit from your parents, or into ezisukelayo nje because ugang, or mhlambe there is something that you are drinking or eating?
ADHD is something that can be genetic. So into ongayithola egazini lasekhaya. So if you can go back and do a family tree uthi ukubheka ukuthi okay umkhulu wayenjani ugogo wayenjani and try to work your way down, it would be simple enough to find the ADHD. Now, as the term ADHD says,
right,
it is a lack of attention ne-hyperactivity, meaning umuntu akakhona akakhona ukufocusa and then akakhona ukuhlala still. There is what we call ADD, which is focused purely on the attention part. And then there is ADHD when you have the issue with both. Because ungakhona ukufocusa, ngeke ukhona ukuhlala still. So if I can't sit still and focus on what I'm doing, my mind starts to wander around. Ngicabangela into engasile because angikhona ukufocusa kule nto eyenzakalayo. So kubantwana it's easy to see because you are sitting down umntana, umnika iball pen, umnika iphepha, teacher, sub A, and you are trying to teach umntana ukuthi abhale A. Umntana mawuthi A, yena useyaqala uculi ayebo ingqondo ayisekho la eklasini besesiqadeni akakhona ukufocus. Now the thing with abantwana is that we need to be careful ukuthi singabo ba diagnose, especially before the age of 5, because before then usase curious vele. Usastimulated kakhulu. So there is, another issue, further down the line that we can discuss. Yokuthi too many people tend to run to abodokotela who are very quick to diagnose abantwana with ADHD. Kanti umntana, you just need to restructure the environment, change the diet, uzophinda abuye. So, but the crux of it is umntana akakhona ukufocusa and umntana akakhona ukuhlala still. But the way, how we get to the diagnosis is this has been happening for a long time, and this is now interfering ukufunda komntana.
Yes.
So yes, khona abantwana aba-playful eklasini, but mawubheka ama-marks akhe makuphela i-term uyambona ukuthi cha lo muntu uhlakaniphile. Uyaphuma kahle no-70% no-80%, kushuthi uma engahlala still u-100% angamthola. That's it. Is the child playful? Yes. Is the child unable to focus? No, because uyafocusa ngendlela yakhe. Akafocus ngendlela le mina nawe siyazi yokuhlala still ubeka izandla phezu kwetafula. These are the things we are learning as we journey on good mental health. So actually, if focus is huge. Kukhona ukuthi umntana ubheke i-TV but uyanizwa ukuthi kwenzakalani endlini. Mawucima i-TV uthi uyambuza ukuthi kwenzakalani, and the child is able to almost play it back like a tape. So that child is focused. Right. It's just that akanibhekanga emehlweni, if I can put it like that, So you're not the crux, like I'm saying, unable to focus to the extent where it's interfering nokufunda and to gain new knowledge, and unable to sit still to the extent that, again, it's interfering with activities of daily living.
Wow. So I can imagine it because one of the things we are also doing this mental illness, it also affects kids. For us, and it's in a children's organization, we also want to go out and start teaching our parents to say, these are things that you need to start paying attention on. We are not saying ujambe, but like you are saying, it's something that you could learn and know about it and say, umntana lo akabehave kahle, ne concentration yabaleka wenza so, because we've been throughout the country, sihlangana nama crash, abanye abo mistress bakhona, they are not well educated. And I hope and believe ukuthi it is such talk shows that will reveal and show them ukuthi Moses Colin, these are the things that you need to pay attention on. And umntwana makaqala yenza kanje. So what is the solution is specifically bantwaneni? If umntwana uqala ukubona these signs that concentration yakhe yabaleka, like you're saying, it should be above 5 years old and so forth. But uyayibona ukuthi this thing ngathi it's okay njalo nje. How do we deal with it? Akhona amaphilisi akhona? Do we change activities? What do we do?
I'm a great believer in non-medicinal treatments, mina.
Right.
But obviously siyafika isikhathi nesimo esidinga medication, right? So before you run to the doctor, before you run to medicating, I will always suggest ukuthi bheka i-lifestyle yomntana. So now I'm speaking to abothisha.
Right.
Go to the background yalo mntana. If umntana is not focusing eklasini, mawuya ekhaya as umzali, I don't know if abothisha bamanje they still do home visit uma be worried ngomntana. Thina masikhula, our teachers, when they were worried about us, before babiza social worker, bebeqale bayojika ekhaya bayobulisa, bayohlola nje ngelihlo ukuthi kuyikhaya elinjani, you know. Have a look at the home circumstances. Is the home, does it have a routine or umazenzela? Because you are sitting in class and you are saying this child can't focus, ganti reflect environment asuka kuyona. So ekhaya umagida sibhekane umuntu nomuntu uyayibonela, that's why this child is unable to focus. So when you ugijimela ipilisi ku doctor, kanti that's not the solution. The solution is sit down with these parents uzama ukubabonisa ukuthi actually umntana uyakudinga ukuthi latest 9 o'clock abesekelele, so that athole sufficient sleep, so that ingqondo yakhe ikwazi ukuthi kunesikhathi sokulayita as the brain, kunesikhathi sokucima ukuthi ithole ukuphumula. Because that can then, mawuyibuka ngelinye ilizwe, that can then come up as inattention. Because ekhaya uzenzela noma yini noma ubani isikhathi, akunasikhathi sokustudisha, ustudisha mamela music, urasa ushaya phezulu, akunasikhathi sokudla sokuhlala phansi, akunasikhathi sokucima i-TV kuxoxwe endlini. Those things are important. So firstly, environment yalo mntana before we start running to amapilisi. Secondly, look at the diet yalo mntana. Are we saying the child is hyperactive, whereas the child is actually eating a lot of sweets, a lot of junk food, a lot of processed food, akadla ama-fruits, akaphuza amanzi, uhlala phuza ama-cold drink, uhlala phuza ama-energy drink? Because that has an effect on the brain. And we're saying now lo mntana cha udinga ipilisi. Sizomnika ipilisi in the mental health sector. But the pill is not going to change the environment, and the pill is not going to change the diet.
Yes.
You know? So before you run to a professional, exhaust those two things. Look at the environment and try to fix it. Look at the diet and try to fix it. Look at the sleep-wake cycle and try to fix that. Because again, if lo mntana akalali ngokwanele, ingqondo ayiphumuli, it is going to reflect as something else uma senihlangana naye. If you have done those things and you've put those systems into place, and there is still a struggle with attention, and there is still a struggle with hyperactivity, then go to imitholampilo. We've got wonderful CHC clinics. Ama CHC lama clinic etamakhulu, abozola, abomfulo, the bigger clinics. They do have a psychiatric department. So you go there, ubachazela ukuthi cha, before ngiza kunina, I did create a routine endlini. Sinesikhathi sokuvuka, sinesikhathi sokudla, sinesikhathi sokulala. I did try to adjust the diet, sasusa ama-sweeties, sawaphungula. Let me not say sasusa, sawaphungula. And then samphuzisa amanzi. We are trying to now have a proper routine ukuthi izinto zenziwa kanjani. We have tried ukuthi kube nesikhathi sokustudisha so that ingqondo yakhe ijwayele ukubhekana nencwadi nokufunda. We have tried everything and we have failed, and that's why we are here. Because if you run to umtholampilo, the first thing our doctor are going to do is give a pill. I'm not saying they are wrong. I'm saying nabo abanawo amandla okuzoyenza leyo nto leyo, because if they don't, you are sitting, you are frustrated, and then uzokhala uthi abo doctor bakwenzeni lutho. Ngimsile ku doctor akenzanga lutho. Whereas in a perfect world, udoctor uzothumela social worker yenza ama-assessment ekhaya. So what I'm trying to teach people is cut out the middleman. Iqale ngokwakho le ekhaya. Start the routine, start fixing yourself, and masuhluleka then uye kodokotela to say cha ngizamile. But akulungi, masibonisaneni ke ukuthi senze njani.
Yeah. I hear you. You actually triggered my mind. I recently was picked up by Amaphoyisa. We had a case that we had to go and attend to a snake park. It is almost similar to what you are explaining, whereby umntwana bebamthathile njenge athathwe foster mother, but only to find out ukuthi umntwana utholakale estradeni ngabo ma 8 o'clock ebusuku, and we could not understand ukuthi umntwana why ahamba ebusuku, and she's almost 11, 12. And when we made a follow-up the next day, fortunately community played a very wonderful role. They gave us their address, and so forth. When we went to the house was not good enough. It was not conducive. And there was uniform which was thrown all over the place, and the house did not look conducive. It could be a place where kids stay. And for us, it's important as abantu abenza about children's rights that anytime out or adopt abantwana, your house needs to look clean. It needs to have order. And so forth. And when we went to school, siyo discover ukuthi umntwana lo aka attendi kahle, participation yakhe it's low, the way agqoka ngakhona it's also very questionable, because they were that some other days unokufika ngempahla ezidabukile and so forth. And that also is a lot of questions to say. It means lo mntwana lo akasekho right nala ahlala khona, hence she wants to start afuna ukubaleka manje and so forth. But we ended up sesivula icase mama khona sagcina sesimthathela abantwana because she did not even prepare the environment like we are saying, and angafuni nokuyishintsha, and afuna ukublame umntwana ukuthi umntwana sekaqalile ukuba stowed, and she put a blame umntwana as if umntwana started on him ukuzigulela nokuzihlanyela nokuzijontshela, but find out ukuthi bekangasayikhi ne-diet, because those are some of the things that we're telling her, that it is important ukuthi umntwana makahamba ayesikolweni makabuya uyascheck isikhaftini ukuthi uzidlile usiqedile udla kanjani. And then you also visit the school, because we were saying, asking the principal and the teacher, and they were saying ukuthi the parents has never been to school. So we are also encouraging parents as well to start participating so that you don't take it light. And I'm happy that we are talking about this, because Mawukala, you said kunabantu abathi ayi lo mntwana lo agezwa ustowed or anything, but yet sikhula nale conclusion leyo. But as we grow older, we start attending ukuthi kunezinto ezifana nabo mental illness, and when we break it down, it is something that we can deal with and so forth. But we are very thankful. And if you just joined us, this is Bishop Q Global Talk, where one of my biggest and favorite sister, name it all, Uzi, she's giving us the insight, breakdown, and the understanding of what is mental illness. So if you've just joined us, make sure that you continue following us on Facebook. You click that button on YouTube, wherever you can get us. Make sure that you listen, you understand, and you teach other people what is mental illness. Two things, Z. You spoke about the child part. Now let us go emuntwini emdala. Imbamba kanjani into le, because you also touched on the fact that it normally even happens merely because ekhaya kini mhlambe into ekhona vele uzalwa nayo.
Abantu abadala, it presents a little bit neater. Iyaqoqeka kancane abantu abadala. But if obviously ususebenze nayo isikhathi eside, you'll be able to pick up the symptoms. So for umuntu omdala, what we are talking about is umuntu ongakhoni ukupay attention to umsebenzi wakhe. Mawuthi kuyena ngicela ungibhalele i-report or ngibhale, okay, let's actually not even get serious, sibhala ama-report, asibhale i-CV. Umuntu ayibhale i-CV akhohle ukufaka igama lakhe. Little things.
Yeah.
I type everything, forget to put the name, forget to put the contact details. We know those things are standard, mawuthumela i-CV, because you are hoping ukuthi lo muntu omthumela i-CV yakho uzocontact her back. umuntu aqale a task angakhona ukuyiqeda. Now that's another very delicious one that we can discuss some other time.
Yes.
When you find somebody at, I have my hands on a lot of projects, all right?
Right.
But mawabuka wonke lama project, project ngamagama akuna movement.
Yes, akunyakazi.
Akunyakazi. Uyiqalile le building, ugubhile, wathi uyawakha lama room, wayifaka i-foundation, kwaphelela lapho. Mawuthi uyabheka imali yokwaqeda lama room ikhona, but ingqondo yakhe ayisa and yena ekhanda lakhe uwakha ama room, but the actions behind ukwakha i-room are not correlating. Now, the funny thing is we always make an excuse and say budget, all right?
Yes,
and I'm saying it's an excuse because for the mere fact yokuthi every month uyakhona ukuyithengela ibhodlela le J&B, every month uyakhona ukuyikhipha i-restaurant, ngoDecember uyakhona ukuya ku-holiday, kube ne-braai namajita, whatever.
Right.
If you are able to do those things, it means imali khona to some extent. It might not be able to finish extend ngalowo mzuzu, but if you take that money and put it towards the project or to uyayenza, you would actually finish the project. You might not finish it in 3 months, but uzoyiqeda,
Yes.
And this is where we are as isizwe sabantu abansundu. And I'm not going to say all of us because it's not all.
Yeah.
I think, I'm going to go off topic a little bit and say, Lenda is ebeyenzeka last week, for instance, last week or the week before with looting.
Oh, yes.
People are saying, asina mali, asina misebenzi silambile, all right? They receive ama grant abantwana, 450, whatever it is. Mawungambuza umuntu ukuthi i-grant yomntana uyenzani, because ngihlangane nomntana estradini, you touched on the issue yomntana. Ngihlangane nomntana estradini, akanayo icathulo, akagezanga, akanayo incwadi zesikolo. Imali ye-grant uyenzani? Incane kabi 450. Okay, siyavuma, incane. Kodwa uyenzeni? Point me in the direction of something you have done. Right? And a person is unable to point at something. If you are busy, if umuntu busy, but awukhona ukuyikhomba into oyenzayo, that for you should be a red flag.
So you should show me that you are busy. Show me.
Results should speak to your business as an adult. So if you are starting a course, ubhalisile UNISA, uyastudisha. Ever since sikwazi Q, uyastudisha. I'll graduate, aphuma certificate, aphuma ma result. Oko, you are an eternal student. Then I'm worried. I'm making a number of different examples so that people can then introspect to say, mhlambe ngikhomba umntanami ngithi umntanami usitoti, umntanami une-ADHD. Kanti uyithola kimi, uyibona ngami.
Umthelela, that's what you say.
Yes. Yebo. So that is actually how I can describe the ADHD adult, in that you are busy, but we cannot see the results of your busyness. It means you can't focus on anything. You are hyperactive, in your execution.
Yes.
You are all over the place.
Yes.
And this is where skills like mathematics come into play. People are always questioning why abantwana benza maths ngenkani. The reason why the government is pushing mathematics is because mathematics teaches you to plan and to execute and to get to a result.
Yes.
Yabona ukuthi le ndaba inkulu kanjani. It's things that we take very easily. Ukuthi why kumele abantwana bafunda ukubala, why kumele bafunda ama multiplication table, why kumele bafunda ama formula. The reason is it teaches you planning, execution, and completion.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that's ADHD adult. Umuntu ohlulwe, jokingly singathi umuntu ohlulwe yibaba.
I see a lot of people are getting interested in this, and Samantha from Emapetla to know this CV Ama relationship. How does it affect one if economic?
Yo, Q, you and I need to have that couple seminar we've been talking about. The COVID, ADHD in relationships. Yo, I'm going to touch on a very sensitive topic. Relationships, but Samantha, thank you for the question. It's a wonderful one. But how you're going to see it is umuntu wako gets easily bored in the relationship. Uyamchaza ne? Uyakuthanda. But after a few months, they've moved on to another relationship. Uba yisoka, if I can put it that way. Akabi yisoka because there's something wrong with you. Uba yisoka because they cannot focus on the project. The project being the relationship. Yeah. So how does it manifest? Maungeko phambi kwakhe uyakhohlwa, out of sight, out of mind. That person you should worry about. Because the issue is not you. The issue is akakhoni ukufocus on the project. And the project is the relationship.
Yes.
Yebo.
Yeah. We will have that show one day. If you've just joined us, this is Bishop Q on Global Talk. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Instagram. We are live everywhere else. You can join us, talk to us. This is my favorite lady, Uzi. We are talking about mental illness, and today we are focusing primarily on attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So make sure that you continue talking to us, chatting to us. Konamanje, we are also talking about the fact that we've been trying to organize a couples retreat of some sort, whereby our issues were mental illness and also in marriage. How do they come along? Zitlasha kanjani and so forth. And as Thembu uNkulunkulu amuhle ukuthi one day we will have that seminar. I think so gonna siyenze online mngani wami, so that sidlulise, because there are about several other things that we need to do around the country and so forth. So so would you say Tina Maskula futhi we used to have amajida sihleze ephathini kuyaphuzwa kuhlezi ku right, and out of the blue omunye umngane wethu akakwazi ukuhlala still, uyasukuma sekafuna ukuklina, sithi indoda sila yena akafuna ukuba la, kuba ngathi i-concentration yakhe ihamba iphela endleleni ngathi bamfishane, and he would want to jump to other things very quickly, yet the other one angakayicethi. Would you also consider that to be the very same thing?
To some extent, yes. And the reason why I get it to some extent, it's because kukhona abantu abane OCD as well, which is obsessive compulsive disorder. So and sometimes kuyenzeka ukuthi lezi zinto sihlangane kumuntu oyedwa. So lo muntu une hyperactivity, akakwazi ukuhlala still, akakwazi ukufocusa, but at the same time uthanda indawo eclean. Uye loyo othi nisepatini yena abe esekitchen ageza izitsha. 1 minute la, 1 minute le. Akazenzi. Kukhona this thing efuna ukubona ku clean. Aclean ngempela zaguqe phansi akorobhe. So that's another topic altogether. So ke batho ba bitsang dichobolo. Motukuru o cleaner aba cleaner ka toothbrush, a scrub in between the tiles, abe khona ukuyithanda, and then kukhona that level le that we start worrying about. Makathinta impompo yayisula qala. That's a different thing altogether. But alcohol in itself, you need to remember where the alcohol acts. Alcohol acts on the brain. And ADHD, like all mental illnesses, is in the brain. So kukhona abantu abangathandwa utshwala. Umephuzile, okay, siyabazi labe othi mabephuzile utshwala buye la enzansi. But kuba khona laba uma bephuzile ingqondo ivesi igijime kakhulu. Some people actually get really brilliant ideas. Maybe phuzile. Umuntu ahlale sekathatha iserviette e-restaurant, uthatha iball pen useyadweba, uhlanganisa ama-idea and kamampela uyakhona ukwenza enzeke. All right? That means i-alcohol iyamstimulate. Kube khona othi umebheme insango, same effect.
Yes.
Imsheshisele, ingqondo ibe ngathi iyavuleka, everything runs. And remember what we said is key, ADHD, the ability to plan, to execute, and to complete. If people can hold on to those three things, mabecabanga ADHD, plan, execute, complete. Sometimes you are able to plan, ungakhona uku-executor, ungakhona ukuqeda. Omunye umuntu akwazi ukuplana, i-execution mhlambe imshaye ngokuthi akazi ukuthi uzo-execute kanjani, but akhona ukuphuma yofuna i-information for execution, ahlule i-completion. If you are unable to complete a task, to me, you might not have a huge problem with ADHD, but it says to me, you are having some sort of, you might be what we call maybe a borderline ADHD, where ingqondo yakho inokukudefeata, ungakhona ukuqedelela izinto. Again, the people who start projects, they are able to plan and start. I mean, for you to start, you must have planned. Ukuthi ngizofaka i-foundation. So there's a degree of planning that happened. But now you are struggling with completion. You understand? Those three things, plan, execute, complete. If somebody is unable to see through something, it speaks to their ability to focus, to hold attention, and it says to some degree their brain, it gijima faster than their actions, hence hyperactivity.
Very interesting. Uthando Sanjwa from Sebokeng is asking, ukuthi uyasola ukuthi naye ngathi he has that, uthi uyathandana but endleleni bese aphelelwa yi-interest and he would normally want to move on. Now in such a case, silapha kanjani if angikwazi ukuhlala ku relationship? How do I focus? Because ngiyacabanga ukuthi bakhona abantu besimame uyasho ukuthi mina ngimuhle and everything, but after 2 months or 3 months umuntu uphelelwa yi-interest. How do we fix that? Because kubantwana you spoke about environment and you spoke about ukudla and so forth, but in terms of abantu abadala, what do we focus on?
Kubantu abadala, I would suggest starting in the same way as abantwana. So look at your environment. Where possible, hlala usingle for a year. So there's a thing that a lot of my white friends always do. They say, get a plant, and if you can grow a plant, ungayibulali. And if you know ukuthi ukunakekela isihlahla or isitshalo kuyinto enzima kanjani, you talk to it, you water it, you give it sun, you give it attention. If you can get that right, you are on the right track. If you don't like plants, get a pet, a dog. Ukunakekela, and angikhulumi ngalezi nje abo-sport, angikhulumi ngabo-sport, Q. Ngikhuluma ngabo Chantel, lezi nje lezi siyabona, lezi nje lezi siyibone TV. Abo fluffy. Laba abahambayo bayogezwa, bathengelwa abo-doggy shampoo, bagezwe, bapemparwe. Hayi lezi nje ezidla lokudla okusele endlini, lezi nje ezithengelwa ukudla. Those dogs, those ones. If you can take care of a plant and you can take care of a pet, iphile, Q, you are ready to be in a relationship a long term with somebody else. Now, in order for you to sustain taking care of a pet, I mean, a pet as simple as a fish. Fish are probably the easiest pets because all you need to do for a fish, fish uyishintsha amanzi once a week, uyipha ukudla kancane once a day, because you can't overfeed, you can't underfeed. But if you can get that right and not kill your fish, you are ready to nurture somebody else. So uthando, ngiyawuzwa umbuzo wakhe. And yes, we do treat adult ADHD with the same medication that we treat ADHD abantwana. But he needs to look at what leads to my losing attention. Is it the fact that this lady suddenly ngihlangane naye emuhle ngamchecka for 3 weeks emuhle ngeviki lesi4 sesshintshile usemubi, which is highly impossible.
Right.
So it means indaba ingakuyena. All right? Right. Then he needs to stop, and by stop I mean end all relationships and look at himself. Because eyomuntu omdala goes deeper. There is an issue with I need external validation. I need umuntu wangaphandle to make me feel good. So eyomuntu omdala usually inokuhambelana nabo bipolar as well, because it's got elements of depression. Why am I cheating? I'm not cheating because I'm not satisfied with my partner. I'm cheating because I'm unhappy with myself. You understand? I'm unable to give myself completely to somebody else because I'm unable to give myself to myself. So for a year, and get a pet, get to know yourself, so that the next time mawuyithola lento ifunayo with blonde hair and big eyes, ungazimosheli ngenxa yokuthi wena you are not at peace. We take advantage, take for granted into efana the way you want to be loved. It is so important. If you can give yourself that a year and give a plan attention for a year, trust me, your success rate in any relationship improves, because you stop being defined by your partner and you start defining yourself by yourself. Yes.
I was speaking to some lady over the weekend. We were talking and we were just chatting and just going on and on. And we ended up talking about relationships. And she struck me very hard when she spoke that she was actually even advising women. And she was saying that a lot of women, abashonelwa abobaba or banganabo bobaba, they normally go and look for a validation estradeni. Uzozitholela boyfriend, and kule boyfriend ubhizi ufunana nobabakhe kulo boyfriend, and ubhizi uyayithandaza uyayilandelela, and the guy is abusive, uyamhlupha umenza yonke lezi zinto lezi ezimbi lezi, but yet yena makambhekile ufuna that replacement because azange adile nale issue kababakhe and so forth. So mawukhuluma nge-issue validation, to me you struck the discussion that we had over the weekend with this woman.
Issues of relationships are deep. I wish people could take breaks in between relationships. We are a very sad generation with very happy pictures because we want to feel like we belong. There is nothing wrong with being single, guys. You are not less of a person if you're single. Paula, heal from your childhood issues, heal from the issues of abusive parents. We can't deny that sometimes our parents were abusive. We can't deny that. Heal from those things. Heal from absent fathers, absent mothers. Heal from those things before you go into any relationships. Because if you don't heal, you are taking your pain out on the next person, guaranteed. Guaranteed. And you are going through life with this. It's such a painful thing. You're going through life with a wall that doesn't allow you to receive. And you told the other person is going all out. But because awuyijwayelanga, you receive it ngathi kuyintweni. Yazi khona abantu abangakwazi ukureceive uthando Q. They don't know how because they were never taught.
That's why some other analyst was even saying in most cases, people who never grew up in a home environment, the idea of a home, abayazi la kunobaba, kunomama, kunabantwana, kuyaphekwa, kubuya esikolweni kwenziwani, that routine iyodwa, if omunye umuntu akaza wayibona or wayifunda or mhlawumbe wayibuka nasenext door, when it comes to you ukuthi kwamele uyenze on a personal note, it becomes very difficult.
You are touching on exactly what we've been saying, routine. Routine is so important.
Yeah.
I have been blessed to be able to encounter very different cultures in my lifetime.
Right.
We are always sitting as isizwe sabantu abamnyama and we are saying ukuthi abelungu, they have such beautiful lives. And the reason why it looks that way is because they have routine. They are very, abelungu, their whole lives are built around routine. Umntana up until a certain age wenzelwa abazali, up until that mayifika leyo age, the parents back off. Tina, when I say, and I'm saying I because I'm that person, I thank God because I'm of a mixed race.
Right.
When I say, when I get to a certain age, I'm going to tap into my white side, and my kids know this.
Yes,
after age 25, you are on your own. I'm not
Yes.
saying this because I get tandy. I'm saying you need to be aware which njengomzali wakho mzoshona. It's going to happen. We don't like talking about it, but it's going to happen.
Yes,
What do my black friends say? Hayi wena awunabo ubuntu. Akusiwukungabi nobuntu Q.
Yeah.
You are preparing your children for every eventuality. And as isizwe sabantu abantsundu, we struggle with that. We are really not being fair to our kids. Sicabanga ukuthi mawugodla indoda ena-40 uyiphekela uyiwashela wenzani njengomzali njengomama. You think when you do that it's love, and it's not. Because should you fall and die today, your son becomes my problem njengomakoti. Because now he doesn't know what to do with himself. Ujwayele ukwenzelwa uma. What happens? He starts drinking excessively. He starts looking for multiple partners to fulfill multiple roles. Because lo ahleli naye endlini can only do so much. So lo owakuphi wenzani yena umthengeli airtime, kukhona omthelela ipetrol, kukhona umenzelani, because this is what his mom did. We are not teaching ingane zethu to stand up for themselves. We are giving them ADHD to an extent, because we are not teaching them planning, execution, and completion. Uma umntana ekhula kumele azi ukuthi njengomzali wakho angeke ngiphile unaphakade. You need to learn ukuthi uyavuka, uyazenzela ukudla, and uma ubona ukuthi isinkwa sikho, uma ungayikasebenzi, it's fine, icela imali yesinkwa. But don't sit there and expect me ukuthi I must go ngokusebenzela, ngisithenge lesinkwa, ngiphinde ngikutoastele, ngiphinde ngigcobele ibhotoro, phinde ngikwenzele itiye because wena unana. You are no longer a baby. From around the age of 5, you are no longer a baby. You need to learn. And I know that it sounds so harsh, but really, we are crippling our children, guys.
The last few parts that also people are highlighting as well, they say one of the things, this lady from Naturena, being unable to concentrate on a task, excessive physical movement and excessive talking. Bakhona abantu abakhuluma waya, and the other one acting without thinking and interrupting conversations. Njalo nje uhlala ukhuluma awufuna ukuphazanyiswa and awucabangi mawenza izinto.
Exactly. I love that lady. I love her. That is absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
So if you're noticing those things in your relationship, now you know. If your part, yes, this is a lovely topic. I mean, if you take it back to relationships, last night I was listening to a podcast by Trent Shelton, and he was saying, if there's no communication, meaning if umuntu wakho uyephela okhulumayo wena mawuthi uyakhuluma akafuna ukukhuluma, that is the red flag. That says to you there is ADHD in that person, because yena uyakhona ukukhipha akakhona ukureceiver. Remember, ungakhumbula le diagram your communication esayenza ko standard 3, standard 4. Communication is 2 ways. It goes out and it comes back.
Yes.
So if somebody, like the lady in Naturana is saying, if somebody is always taking it out and not receiving it, there is a
Yes.
problem. There is a problem.
Oh, thanks very much, Zin. In conclusion, what would you say?
In conclusion, I would say let us look at our environments, guys.
Yeah.
A lot of mental illnesses, a lot of them, I'm never going to say all, a lot can be sorted out if we fix our environments. And our environment does not need money to be fixed. Environment speaks to routine, speaks to basic hygiene. Even if uhlala emkhukhwini, even if uqashe erumini, ubuclean nje, just normal cleanliness. Ungaba neroutine usemkhukhwini nabantwana bakho. Nazi ukuthi ngesikhathi sokudla kucinywa i-TV. Ngesikhathi sokudla ifoni ibekwa phansi. Ngesikhathi se-homework kuyacinywa kuthule kwenziwe i-homework.
Yes,
And
yes.
for adults, it's a nice time ukuthi nawe abantwana mabenza ama-homework, it's a nice time for you to engage nomntanakho. And to see ukuthi, okay, umntanami, this is their strong point. Instead of walking around as an adult thinking your child is going to become a doctor, kanti umntanakho ufuna ukuyoba utishera, you know? When you are sitting there udlala ngefone, you're not aware ukuthi umntanakho actually doesn't want to be a doctor. You know, it's little things. So we can't keep having the excuse of imali. We can't keep having the excuse of silinda ukuthi izinto zibe ngcono. Make them better. Fix the environment. Fix the diet. I'm not saying hamba uyothenga ukudla kwase-Woolies or you know, expensive food.
Yes, yes.
Basic nutrition. Mina uma ngikhula, every single night, Monday to Monday, there was a vegetable on the plate.
Yeah.
Abantwana bethu khona manje, I don't like vegetables, mommy, but we do that to them.
Yes.
We do that to them. And then we wonder why abantwana bethu have so many issues with learning, with absorption of things, with fighting diseases. We do that to them. We call it giving them a better life than what we had, but is it really better? So environment, routine, and then get to know the person. And what is fixable without medication, by all means, please try to fix it without medication. Angikhulumi ke ngokushayana, nix mashayana here. But get to understand umntanakho and stop thinking ukuthi because umntanami lo unje, shuthi nalo uzoba njalo. Every child is different. We become frustrated as parents because we put everybody in one box. Our children are different human beings. They learn differently. They absorb differently. But how are you going to know if you don't spend time naloyo mntana? Please, guys, I can't stress it enough. Especially khona manje, we have more than enough time. It's COVID. We are locked down. Get to know your kids.
Yes.
Get to know your kids, please. Before nigijimela kodokotela namapilisi, get to know your kids.
Yes. It's been another wonderful show talking to you, breaking down. But mina yami njobo wena ustressa indaba ye environment. For me, it's alcohol because I've heard you touching the issue of alcohol on time-to-time basis, and what effect does it have? That's why even my son, he knows wherever he is that he might be having fun, sevens and everything. Mawuphuza responsible. But now I'm also picking up, we are mentioning every time go to Nochwala, if you've got mental illness, waphuza.
It gets worse. It definitely gets worse.
Yeah, it's another story for another day. We are also hoping to have a discussion based on relationships. We're gonna have a seminar. We promise you. We will never die. But we promise you. This has been a Global Talk with Bishop Q, your favorite lunchtime show. But today we decided to have breakfast because of network problems. But in any case, let us take this time and moment and say we bow to Queen Z. who has been very, very, very educating response are coming. And we hope that even tomorrow or even next year or even 5 years later, people will be able to log in and learn about mental illness. And it all started here. So continue talking to us. But we are thankful to you, Z, for your time, for your moment. She is very busy. She's probably... you could link her to find no Ramaphosa. I normally say to her, she runs the country. But she's able to give us time, talk to us, and give us the insight in mental illness. We will also try and get to squeeze her, could assist squeeze schedule yakhe, so that they are also able to continue as well at other issues as well, as far as nabo schizophrenic and tonton, whereby cut down election. What is it, this thing? Because we normally ignore it. We normally take it for granted. We normally don't look into it. And there are people always around us, abagulayo, who are not looking good, who are seeking those particular things. And if Sister Light says and matter. So from us, from Global Talk and the entire team, from Z, we thank you very much. Continue tuning in, continue talking to us. We do amaphupho, we do spiritual talks. Siyakhuluma nangoNkulunkulu, siyayenza zonke izinto. Continue following us. We thank you for the support. Continue talking to us. Z, have a lovely day, my love. Keep on smiling.
Thank you, Q. Thank you to Abalaleli Show Yako. I hope I can make a difference in people's lives as far as mental health is concerned. Yes. And I'm very happy to be a part of this journey with you and your listeners.
No, we are very thankful as well. Have a lovely day, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Global Talk with Bishop Q. We love you.